Good morning, everybody. What a beautiful day. We're going to be getting started with the M-Files quick tips. And in this session, this is going to be searching inside of M-Files. Just a quick reminder, today's session, the content is going to be about 15 minutes. And at the end of that, we'll have 15 minutes for Q&A. What are we going to be covering in searching in M-Files? We're going to be taking a look at quick search, excuse me, applying filters, taking a look at doing a search inside of a view, doing an advanced search, taking a look at some of the wildcards that you can use during your search. Let's get started. So inside of M-Files, as you take a look up at the very top, you can see that there's a search. When you click on this, this is the quick search area inside of M-Files. When I clicked in the box, you also saw some filters become available down below. Another thing to point out here in the quick search window is this little drop down. When I select that, it's going to show you a history of searches that you have done. You get to clear that at any time. Now the search that I'm looking for is the one bike. I could select it here, or I can also just type it in. To initiate my search, I can click on the search icon, or I can press enter on the keyboard. M-Files breaks up the search information based on what it finds. So in this case, it found a category for documents. So we have a grouping of documents, and it found a category for vendors. So it gave you another group for vendors. Now, if I wanted to fine tune that a little bit more, I have the capability of applying a filter. And you can see that there's a lot of choices. And if I expand this, you can see there's even more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to narrow in my search for file contents. When I click on the box, the search information is updated. So now we're looking at file contents. You also see where I'm hovering over my check mark, there's a lock. This is a feature that allows you to lock that filter in place. So if I do that, that is something that cannot be cleared out. To unlock that filter, I have to click on the lock again. Let's leave it in play just for a moment here. Let's take a look at our search results. So if I click on my first document, I'm going to see nothing in the metadata card, but when I click on preview, because I said file contents, we can see the word bike or bikes highlighted in yellow. If I do want to zoom in, I can right click and select zoom tools. And that allows me to zoom in on that document. If I take a look at the vendor invoice, because this is a Word document, I'm automatically able to look inside of that one right away. And again, I can zoom in to take a closer look. With the PDF document, that did require OCR so that we can take a look inside of that PDF. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my search filters. Now, if I clear my filters now, the locked filter will still be in play. To unlock it, I need to click on the lock again. So it's a toggle on and a toggle off feature. So I've removed all of my filters. To reset everything, I'm going to click on the home, or in this case, the M-Files logo, and you'll notice the word bike disappear from the quick search window. Let's do another search. In this one, we're going to go into a view. I have a view called pictures. I'm going to double click on that view. That's going to bring up my pictures. When I go back to my quick search window and click, we're going to see a new choice in my filters. We now can control where mFiles is searching. So again, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say mFiles search with inside of this view. So in this case, I'm going to go to my drop down. I'm going to select a past search from my search history, Daisy, and that immediately did the search. When I click on Daisy, I can see that that again is highlighted in yellow on the metadata card, and I can click preview to see the Daisy. I'm going to reset my search parameters by clicking home. Let's talk about advanced search. Inside of mFiles, you have a lot of capability with the advanced search. I'm only going to show you a snippet of some of the things that you can do here. To get to advanced search, you click on these three lines. That opens up, opens up the first choice for advanced search. This gives you two filters to apply in your advanced search. If you need more, you can click on additional conditions, and then you can go to properties. Like I said, I'm only going to show you just a little bit of what advanced search can do. If you are looking for more information and you're in this area, you can access mFiles help by pressing your F1 key on your keyboard. Will bring up help in the specific area that you are inside of mFiles. So I scroll down here, you can see that there's a lot of operators that are available in the advanced search area. I'm going to close that window. I'm going to close this advanced search area. I'm only going to use two filters. So I'm going to go to my first field here, and I'm going to type in class is, and we're going to go to document class. I'm going to go to the second line, and this one is going to be keywords. I'm going to go to my middle here, and we're going to select contains, and I'm going to type in the word driving. To initiate my search, I'm going to click on the search icon. That returns the document I was looking for. I'm going to select it. Now, because we are looking for two things in our advanced search, I'm not going to get the yellow highlight. But you can see here the class is document and the keyword is driving. Now, what happens when people start using advanced search is a lot of times you get the big goose egg. Nothing is returned. At that point, if that happens to you, what you want to do is remove the last filter that you applied. So in this case, you can see I have two filters that have been applied. I'm going to go back to advanced search. So let's assume I got the big goose egg. So I'm going to remove my last filter, and it researched for me. So now I got a bigger return, and I can look at this information and decide what my next filter should be. So if I start taking a look at my documents here, I got sample data, classes document. In my case, my second choice here is the document I was looking for. So again, if you come up with a goose egg for your advanced search, remove the last filter that you applied and retake a look at your return to see what kind of filter you want to apply. Now, to clear out my advanced search, I can also click home, but if I go back to advanced search, there's another way to do that, and that can be done right here. So if I click here, that clears out my filters. I get a confirmation. I say yes, my filters have been cleared out. I'm going to click home, and that takes me back to the home screen inside of mFiles. The next kind of search that I want to do, mFiles refers to it as an indirect search. So you're basically doing two things in one search field. This has to be done in the advanced area. So I'm going to go back to advanced. In my example, I'm going to select vendor and I'm going to put in a period. So that allows me to add another parameter to this search. I'm going to type in state / Providence. I'm going to go to the last field and I'm going to select Florida. So here's what I've told it to do. I'm going to take a look at vendor invoices with a vendor that is from the state of Florida. Let's initiate my search. So I'll return the following documents. So if I take a look at my first vendor, in the metadata card, you're going to see that I see the vendor. How do I know this vendor's from Florida? Well, I added that as my indirect search. That's something that's happening in the background. To validate that, we're going to go to the vendor details. So I'm going to click on the blue box. And that's going to bring up another window in mFiles where I can validate the vendor details. In this case, I see the vendor is from the state of Florida. Pretty cool. I'm going to close this window. Takes me back to the invoice. I'm going to select another invoice. Here we have Anderson Custom Bikes. Again, I'm going to click on the blue box to validate that they reside in the state of Florida, in this case, the city of Tampa. I'm going to click on the X to close that as well. I'm going to click home. Now, I can imagine a lot of you are probably already thinking, are there any type of wildcards that I can use in my search parameters? Yes, there is. There are quite a few different wildcards that you can use. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm sharing a small sample. Let's talk about these. If you want to do a single character, you can do the question mark. What the question mark is basically a placeholder for that character. So if I type in APPL question mark, I could get a return of apply or apple, for example. If I'm looking for a digit, I can use the hash key. So I could do 22 hash and I could get a return of 20, 21, 20, 22. If I'm not quite sure how many characters are going to follow, I can use the asterisk. In this example, I have the word market with an asterisk. That will give me a return of markets and marketing. Now, we do have a document that I will ask my panelists to share in the chat window. This document was available when you registered after Friday. Now, I just want to make you aware when you are registering for these mFiles quick tips, there may be additional materials that you can download. It will appear once you've been submitted your registration for the Marco mFiles quick tips. And you can see what it would look like on the screen highlighted down in yellow. What I'd like to do at this point is I'd like to open it up for questions. Do we have any questions out there at this point?
Good morning, Dave. Yeah, actually, we do have one that came in. As a reminder, if anybody has additional questions, feel free to put them into the chat, and we'll get some time here with Dave to answer those. The question that came in is in regards to the asterisk search. The question is as far as how many characters are required in order to leverage that. And second question to that is, if you don't have enough information, how would you handle that?
Great questions. Okay, so I'm sharing my mFile screen again. Let's try out the first part of that. So I'm going to type in a B and I'm going to put in a star. Now I'm going to initiate my search and we'll see what happens. mFiles is telling us that it needs at least 2 characters in front of the wildcard. So I'm going to add an I and do my wildcard and do a search. Now my vault is not that large, but more than likely if you put in just 2 characters and use a wildcard, mFiles will come back and tell you that the search is too large. So it will deliver nothing in the search. So the second part of that question, you want to provide as much information as you can before you use the asterisks. Let's see what our data is returned here. So if I go to my first data, click preview here, since I did BI, we got the return of binder. If I go to the next item, parrot, we got the return of bird. If I go to my third item, we finally get the item I'm looking for, in this case, the word bike. So let me, did that answer, was there any follow-up to that, Tracy?
No, that answered it. Thank you very much.
Are there any other questions?
Not at this time.
Awesome. Our next webinar will be happening August 15th, again at 10 a.m. And in that topic, we'll be creating views inside of mFiles. I would also request that you complete the survey once this webinar is ended. Please tell us how we did. Also, if you have ideas for webinars that you would like to see, please let us know. Also, if you need to get a hold of us, we are available software@marconet.com, and there's our phone number, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time.